The Roman Empire gave us law, language, and roads, but beneath the dust of history lies a far more shocking truth. Rome was a society of technological wizards whose greatest inventions were not merely lost, they were deliberately buried. These weren't simple tools. They were engineering feats that our modern world still struggles to replicate. Today, the unseen ledger is pulling back the curtain on the hidden genius of the Caesars. We're going to uncover 11 of their most astonishing lost technologies. Secrets like a super concrete that gets stronger over 2,000 years, a terrifying, unextinguishable chemical weapon that burned on water, and the incredible final secret of the Pantheon's Dome, a structural masterpiece built with a genius we still can't fully comprehend. These are the secrets Rome didn't want its enemies, or even its own future citizens, to find. Stay with us until the end. Because the final technology is so advanced, scientists still can't recreate it. Number 11, the vitus, the vertical siege ladder. The Romans didn't just smash their way through walls. They were masters of efficiency, especially during a siege. While we picture massive towers and catapults, the real secret weapon was often the vitus, a simple yet ingenious tool for scaling battlements. This wasn't just a standard ladder. The vitus was a small, narrow, covered wooden siege shed that was attached to the wall, almost like a temporary staircase. Its purpose was not mass assault, but protection. Imagine a squad of soldiers slowly creeping up a tall wall, completely shielded from arrows, rocks, and boiling oil by the vitus's tough roof and sides. A slow, inexorable march upward. The shed's roof was usually layered with animal hides to absorb liquids, making the process almost immune to the common defenses of the time. Once the soldiers reached the top, they simply dropped the ramp, cleared the wall section, and opened the gates for the main army. This technology essentially provided a shielded, vertical path to victory, minimizing Roman casualties and demoralizing the enemy before the real fighting even began. The vitus was a brilliant example of Roman engineering prioritizing the lives of their own soldiers over brute force, a technology the enemies of Rome learned to dread. Number 10, the hodometer, the world's first odometer. How did the Roman Empire manage to build roads that span continents and track distances with such incredible accuracy? They didn't have GPS or even reliable paper maps. They had the hodometer, essentially the world's first mechanical odometer. Described by the engineer Vitruvius and others, this device was a complex wooden cart with a geared system of wheels and cogs. As the cartwheel turned, it rotated a smaller gear, which in turn rotated a series of larger, calibrated gears. After a fixed number of revolutions, say 1 Roman mile, a final gear would drop a small pebble into a box. By counting the pebbles at the end of the day, Roman surveyors and military commanders knew the exact distance they had traveled. The genius lay not just in the mechanism, but in the standardization it allowed. Every mile marker along the Appian Way was placed with this precise, machine-driven accuracy. This wasn't just useful for travel. It was essential for managing logistics, calculating taxes, and ensuring the rapid movement of troops across their vast territories. When the empire fell, the intricate knowledge of how to build and calibrate these sensitive gears vanished, setting mechanical engineering back nearly 1,000 years. Number 9, the hypocaust system, ancient central heating. Forget fireplaces and drafty stone halls. The wealthiest Romans enjoyed a luxury that wouldn't be seen again in Europe until the industrial age, central heating. This was the hypocaust system, a brilliant piece of thermal engineering that made their elaborate public baths and private villas wonderfully warm. The hypocaust worked by raising the floor of a room on small pillars, usually made of brick, creating a hollow space beneath. A furnace, often located outside the main building, would blast hot air into this underfloor space. The hot air circulated, heating the tiles above, which then radiated warmth throughout the room. Smoke and exhaust were vented through flues built into the walls, providing a constant, clean source of heat. The efficiency was remarkable. though it was extremely labor-intensive to maintain, requiring a steady supply of firewood and a slave to constantly tend the furnace. When the Roman infrastructure collapsed, the knowledge of maintaining these complex systems disappeared, and Europeans shivered in the cold for centuries, having lost the secret to controlled, distributed thermal energy. It's a stunning reminder of the everyday comforts that were abandoned with the fall of Rome. Number 8. The dioptra, the geometry of empire. The Romans are famous for their straight roads and level aqueducts. These weren't built with guesswork. They relied on an incredibly precise, but now lost, surveying instrument called the dioptra. This was the ancient world's version of a modern theodolite. It was a metal disc mounted on a stand, with two small viewing tubes or sighting arms attached. These arms could be swiveled and locked into place at any angle, allowing the surveyor to measure angles, elevations, and perfectly straight lines over immense distances. Using the dioptra, Roman engineers could calculate water flow gradients for aqueducts, a drop of just a few inches over a mile, and plot out massive urban projects like the grid system of a new Roman city. The accuracy was so high that many Roman aqueducts still provide water today, functioning perfectly despite 2 millennia of neglect. The complexity of its manufacture, requiring highly skilled metalworking and calibration, meant that when the workshops vanished, the knowledge of the dioptra's precise construction was simply lost to history, taking with it the ability to construct civil works on such a grand, stable scale. Number 7. Roman roads, the unbreakable surface. The saying goes, all roads lead to Rome, but the true secret is that those roads were built to last forever. Take the Appian Way, portions of which are still used today, 2,300 years after construction. Why did their roads last while modern asphalt crumbles in a decade? The Romans didn't just lay rocks. They engineered a multi-layered, deep foundation system, often up to 4 feet deep. The bottom layer was large stones, followed by rubble mixed with lime cement, then gravel and sand, and finally a surface of large, tightly fitted paving stones. But the deep, forgotten genius was in the drainage. The roads were deliberately crowned, slightly higher in the middle, to ensure water flowed off immediately into deep side trenches. Water is the number one enemy of pavement, and the Romans engineered their way around it. Their roads rarely flooded or froze, preventing the seasonal cracking that plagues modern roads. They weren't just transit systems. They were monuments to durability, requiring massive amounts of labor and materials, but promising near-eternal use. This secret of construction quality was abandoned in favor of cheaper, faster methods, a technological compromise that cost the world long-term stability. Number 6. The Lycurgus Cup, dichroic glass. Among the treasures of the British Museum is the Lycurgus Cup, a truly mind-bending piece of Roman glasswork. To the naked eye, the cup appears green when light shines on it from the front. But here is the secret. When you shine light through it from the inside, the glass instantly transforms and glows a deep, brilliant ruby red. This effect is called dichroic glass, and the technology to create it was lost for over 1,000 years. Modern scientists finally analyzed the glass and found the Roman secret. Tiny, microscopic particles of gold and silver ground down to less than 50 nanometers, smaller than any contemporary workshop could manage. The Roman glassmakers had somehow mastered nanotechnology, suspending these metal particles perfectly within the glass matrix. These nanoparticles interact with light waves in a way that shifts the entire color spectrum. How they achieved such precision without modern microscopes or measurement tools is still a subject of awe and mystery. It wasn't just decorative art. It was evidence of an advanced, lost material science that speaks to a level of technical skill we still find difficult to believe. Number 5. Segmentata armor, the modular shield. The image of the Roman legionary is iconic, protected by the segmented plates of the Larica segmentata. This armor was far more advanced than the chainmail worn by their enemies and successors. It was built using horizontal iron plates, hinged and strapped together in overlapping layers. This modular design had several crucial advantages that were later forgotten. Firstly, it allowed the armor to be cheaply and easily manufactured in standard sizes, and secondly, it was incredibly flexible, allowing the soldier greater range of motion than bulky plate armor. Most importantly, if a plate was damaged in battle, the soldier didn't need a whole new suit. The damaged section could be quickly removed and replaced with a new part. This reduced repair time, kept more soldiers in the field, and was a logistical triumph. When the Empire decentralized, the centralized factories needed to produce the segmentata vanished. Simpler, less effective chainmail became the standard, and the secret of standardized, modular, mass-produced advanced personal protection was abandoned. The segmentata was a triumph of industrial-scale military engineering. Number 4. The secret of Roman lead pipes, hidden health knowledge. It's a common historical fact that lead poisoning from water pipes contributed to the fall of Rome. But the real story, the secret that was lost, is more complicated and suggests the Romans knew more than we think. While they used lead extensively, their engineers also developed techniques to mitigate the poison. Firstly, the lead pipes were typically lined with a layer of calcium carbonate, a mineral scale, from the hard water they transported. This layer formed a natural barrier, protecting the water from the lead. Secondly, the water pressure was high and constantly flowing, limiting the time the water spent in contact with the metal. The biggest secret? Romans may have understood the danger and only used lead for public distribution, but used bronze or ceramic pitchers for actual consumption. When the empire fractured, the aqueducts stopped flowing, the mineral scaling broke down, and people started drinking stagnant water directly from damaged lead sources. The technology wasn't the failure. The failure was the collapse of the infrastructure and the system that maintained the safe use of the material. They didn't fall because of lead. The dangerous use of lead began after they fell. Number 3. Roman concrete, the self-healing seawall. Modern concrete crumbles within a few decades, especially when exposed to seawater. But Roman concrete, particularly the mixture used for harbors and sea walls, actually gets stronger with age. This secret was lost for 2 millennia, only recently rediscovered by scientists. The Roman genius was mixing volcanic ash from Mount Vesuvius with quicklime and seawater. This created a crystal structure in the concrete that is chemically distinct from anything we use today. When tiny cracks form in the Roman sea walls, the seawater seeps in, reacts with the volcanic crystals, and triggers a secondary process that actually causes the concrete to reharden and fill the crack. In effect, the Roman sea walls are self-healing. The technology was lost because the ingredients were local to Italy, and the complex, slow-curing process was replaced by the faster, but weaker, Portland cement used today. Imagine what modern infrastructure would look like if we had access to this simple, self-repairing, near-immortal construction material. It truly is a lost secret of material science. Number 2. Greek fire, the unquenchable weapon. One of the most terrifying and effective weapons of the ancient world was Greek fire. Though often associated with the later Byzantine Empire, its chemical precursors and concepts were certainly known to and developed by Roman engineers. The secret of its formula was so carefully guarded that it was lost entirely and remains a mystery today. We know it was a liquid incendiary weapon that could be pumped through siphons and, most horrifyingly, could not be extinguished by water. In fact, some accounts suggest water made it burn even hotter. Imagine a naval battle where the enemy's ships are suddenly engulfed in flames that burn on the waves themselves. Panic was immediate. Historians believe the formula contained ingredients like naphtha, quicklime, sulfur, and possibly saltpeter, which reacted violently when exposed to moisture. The reason the formula vanished is simple. It was passed down only by oral tradition and heavily guarded state secrets, ensuring that when the last Byzantine chemist died, the formula went with them. It was the ultimate horrific deterrent, a chemical technology that vanished from the world, only to be reinvented centuries later. Number 1. The Pantheon's Dome, the structural masterpiece. Our final secret is perhaps the greatest structural enigma of the ancient world, the Dome of the Pantheon in Rome. Built nearly 2,000 years ago, it remains the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the entire world. No steel, no modern structural supports, just concrete. Its diameter spans over 142 feet, and its genius is the massive oculus, the hole at the top, which isn't just a window. The final, brilliant secret lies in the concrete itself. The Romans didn't use the same heavy mixture throughout. They layered it. The concrete at the base is made with heavy basalt, but as it rises toward the oculus, the concrete becomes progressively lighter, incorporating porous, lightweight volcanic stone. At the very top, surrounding the oculus, the concrete is essentially a lightweight pumice aggregate. This staggering feat of calculated load reduction ensures the entire structure balances itself perfectly. The Pantheon is a living demonstration of the lost Roman mastery of concrete density in physics, a secret so complex and perfectly executed that modern engineers, even with all our tools, look at it with baffled respect. It is a technological miracle that we still cannot truly replicate. Ultra. From the self-healing concrete of the sea walls to the perfect structural balance of the Pantheon's dome, these 11 secrets prove that the Roman Empire was far more advanced than our history books admit. They achieved the impossible, and the secrets are still out there. If you were amazed by these lost technologies, hit the subscribe button now. Which lost Roman technology do you think we need most today? Let me know in the comments below.